The letter arrived at 6:12 a.m. certified, stamped, highlighted in red. Immediate removal of livestock. Livestock? Daniel blinked twice at the paper in his hand. Behind him, three fluffy backyard hens pecked peacefully near his daughter Ava's pink rain boots. Livestock. That's when Karen appeared. Pearls, clipboard, phone already recording. "You have 48 hours," she said sweetly, smiling like she'd just saved the neighborhood from a felony. "Chickens attract vermin and lower property values." Daniel looked past her, straight at her yard. Two yapping designer dogs, a broken decorative fountain growing algae, and a lawn that hadn't seen water in weeks. But it was his hens that were the problem. "They're legal," Daniel said calmly. "City ordinance allows up to 6. Karen's smile didn't crack. "This is a private community," she replied, "and I decide what's appropriate." Behind curtains across the street, blinds shifted. Neighbors were watching. Because this wasn't about chickens, this was about control. Karen had already fined a widow for wind chimes, threatened a family over chalk drawings, sent violation notices for holiday wreaths. But this was personal. She leaned closer. "If they're not gone by Friday," she whispered, "I'll make sure you regret moving here." Daniel didn't argue. He simply nodded. And that was the moment Karen made the biggest mistake of her HOA career. By Thursday afternoon, Karen made it official. She didn't just send another letter. She called an emergency HOA meeting. Folding chairs lined the cul-de-sac like a courtroom. A cheap microphone squealed as Karen stepped forward, pearls gleaming under the sun like medals of authority. "Today," she announced dramatically, "we address a serious health violation." Daniel stood calmly at the back, Ava beside him, holding a small basket of eggs. Karen clicked a remote. Up popped a blown-up photo of his backyard chickens on a portable screen, zoomed in like evidence from a crime scene. Murmurs spread. "She was in his yard?" someone whispered. Karen ignored it. "These animals threaten sanitation, safety, and our property values," she declared. "We must enforce standards before this neighborhood turns into a farm." Ava squeezed her father's hand. Then Daniel stepped forward. "Before we vote," he said evenly, "I'd like to clarify something." He pulled out a folder. Inside were printed copies of the city ordinance allowing backyard hens, and a second document. Karen's smile faltered. It was an email, from her, sent 3 years ago, to the previous board, requesting approval for her own temporary chicken coop during the egg shortage. The crowd went silent. "You said they were sustainable," Daniel continued. "You called them a beautiful return to tradition." Phones slowly lifted. Recording. Karen's face tightened. "That was different," she snapped. Daniel tilted his head slightly. "How?" The silence was no longer on her side. "If you're watching this unfold, share and subscribe. Drop where you're watching from in the comments." Karen tried to recover. She laughed, sharp, brittle. "That email was during a national shortage," she snapped. "This is different. This is about standards." But something had shifted. The crowd wasn't nodding anymore. It was calculating. Mrs. Alvarez raised her hand slowly. "You fined me $200 for a bird feeder." A man near the sidewalk added, "You cited my son's lemonade stand for unauthorized retail activity." Another voice, "You towed my car. It was in my own driveway." The microphone trembled in Karen's grip. Daniel didn't raise his voice. He didn't need to. "We're not asking for chaos," he said. "We're asking for consistency." Then Ava stepped forward. She held out the egg basket. "These are free," she said softly. "We share them with Mrs. Alvarez every Sunday." The moment hit harder than any argument. Karen saw it and panicked. "You are manipulating this neighborhood," she shouted. "If we allow this, next it's goats, then pigs, then who knows what." But it was too late, because while Karen had been talking, Daniel had been organizing. By that evening, a petition circulated through the neighborhood group chat, not just to allow backyard chickens, but to call for a vote of no confidence in the HOA president. By midnight, 43 signatures. By morning, 57. Karen woke up to find her own power slipping through her fingers, and she knew exactly who was responsible. She just didn't realize how much worse it was about to get. Karen didn't sleep. By sunrise, she was already drafting violation notices, retaliation disguised as policy, noise complaints, landscaping infractions, improper waste storage, all directed at Daniel. But this time, the neighborhood wasn't quiet. Screenshots of her late-night emails spread through the community chat. Timestamps, threats, selective enforcement. Then came the final blow. At the emergency recall meeting, packed beyond capacity. Daniel didn't speak first. Mrs. Alvarez did. Then the father of the lemonade stand criminal. Then the widow with the wind chimes. One by one, stories stacked like bricks. Not about chickens, about intimidation, about fines used as weapons, about a president who treated neighbors like subjects. Karen stood to defend herself. No one forced you to move here, she snapped. Rules are rules. But someone projected the bylaws on a portable screen. There it was, Clause 14B. Board decisions require majority approval, not unilateral enforcement. She had acted alone, for years. The vote was swift, overwhelming. Karen wasn't just removed, she was audited. And when the financial review revealed administrative reimbursements that no one had approved, even her allies stepped back. 3 weeks later, a quiet for sale sign appeared in her yard. Meanwhile, Daniel's hens still pecked peacefully. But now, they were neighborhood mascots. Sometimes the smallest creatures expose the biggest tyrants. If this story opened your eyes, like, share, and subscribe. And tell us where you're watching from in the comments.